Hey, this is Mike and Tom with the Muscle and Speed podcast. We're here to talk about our favorite car movies, TV shows, music, and workouts, wheeling, whatever else comes to our mind. We're going to be posting these up once a week. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Muscle and Speed. We also have a website, www.muscleandspeed.com, where we'll eventually be selling some merch. Our goal here is to share our passion for all these things with the people who feel the same way. And we're back. Episode 10.
10.
This would be the 10th one.
Time flies.
How about them apples?
I like it.
So let's talk a little bit about what went down at the gym today. We learned things.
We did.
Won't say by who.
Nope.
Won't be specific. But it got me thinking. As a 41-year-old male, I should get my testosterone checked. And I think I'm going to do that.
You should.
I don't think I'd ever have the guts to do the mail order thing.
Oh, yeah. No.
I just don't think it's worth...
The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
It isn't. Just because I guess if you're a professional athlete, most of them do it. But since we're not, I don't think that that's worth it. I really don't.
No.
But if there's a legal way that could give me a little bit of a boost as a 41-year-old male, why not? So, and intelligently, we're going to check with a doc and get labs done and find out the truth and see if there's anything I might need. If TRT is something that would benefit me, why not? I have work, I have insurance, I have means, so if I can get that legally, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to look into that more seriously. I mean, we've talked about it over the years many times.
Right.
But I'm not interested in trying out anything that's not legal. It's not worth the risk.
No.
But like I said, if there's a legal means to give you a little bit of help in the gym and just feeling better overall, why not?
That.
Yeah. Yeah. So
We're not 21 anymore.
no, definitely not. Definitely feeling my age. So not that 41's old, but it's not 21. And if there was no benefit to it, then it wouldn't be illegal in the UFC for one. And it is. They allowed it for a while, but it was getting out of hand. I mean, you had guys that were just jacked up on it, and you could tell. Vitor Belfort for one.
Yeah.
Vitor Belfort on TRT is a monster. He is he's a legit world-class fighter anyway, but you put him on TRT, and he's one of the best fighters in the world at any weight class. I mean, he'd beat a lot of heavyweights. He just would. As a 200-pound man.
Woof.
Without it, he's noticeably different. Not just visually, but his fighting, everything is different when he's not on it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a performance enhancer. But I think if it's done medically and it's done with people, I mean, I'm not looking to get an unfair advantage over anybody because honestly, outside of a couple people, no one can give two shits what I do in the gym.
Right.
And so,
we're not competing against anybody.
No, I'm not looking to cheat anybody out of anything or gain an unfair advantage over someone. So,
Yep.
Yeah, Dominic just joined us. Hey. We're just talking about TRT. Potentially going to see a doc, get my T levels tested, and see if I couldn't get a prescription for some TRT therapy, or if I even need it. Maybe I'll find out that I have naturally high levels and I don't need it.
You never know.
I doubt it, but you never know. I don't think I'm one of those guys. I've got the cool dad bod, though. Yeah, it was interesting, though, to talk to that guy. I mean, he had knowledge of... a lot of specific knowledge.
Yeah, he knew what was going on.
Yeah, he knew what was up, so that was cool. And he was pretty open, and he seemed real honest about it. I believed him. I believed what he was telling me.
In shape, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to know, and he wasn't being like braggadocious and like, you could bench 600 pounds, but he was pretty honest about what it does for you and what the real benefit is, and
right.
It was funny. You could definitely tell. I mean, he's someone who uses it himself, and so he obviously believes it's worth it. Yeah, it was interesting. Mm-hmm. It was very interesting.
And he's seen a doctor.
Yes, he went and saw a doctor. So he's not an idiot. He said he was when he was younger, but not anymore. So good for him. Yeah, so our plan was to sit down and watch the Lions game and then do this. But what happened?
It's not televised.
Nope. I know they played horribly last week. And not many people outside of some diehard Lions fans are going to want to watch them play football after last week.
But it was bad.
It was bad. But they're playing San Francisco, and they've got a pretty decent team. Yep. And they're in San Fran. You'd think people would want to watch that. I don't know. But, I mean, for the record, our local Fox station, is showing reruns of 2.5 Men instead. So, yeah. At least it's the Charlie Sheen version, which was the better version. But, yeah, so we decided to come podcast anyway. We did, however, finish the Packers-Vikings, which was a heck of a game. So what do you think of that call on Clay at the end of the game?
I loved it. Good call. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, it was a bad call, but I don't like him, so it was a good call. He followed him to the ground, but to me, he did it exactly right. He hit him midsection.
Midsection with his shoulder.
Yep. And he didn't really drive him into the ground. I guess that's what they called, and it did kind of look like it from one angle, but not really.
Yeah.
It was just his arm anyway. He wasn't using his body to drive him into the ground.
Shouldn't have been a penalty.
No. But Clay sucks, so good. And it was a tie. And that's that rookie kicker. How many did he miss? Three. Right at the end of the game, he missed 3 in a row. A 52, a 40.
Within the course of the game.
Yeah.
Like a 48, a 47, and then
a 35 at
52.
the end.
Yeah, 35.
In overtime was a 35-yarder he missed.
He missed 4 today.
I think he might have missed 4. I don't know how you keep him. I mean, I know he's a young dude, but how do you keep him for the next week? Did they draft him? They did.
I think they did.
Yeah. And he looks like he's 12 years old, so that's something. But yeah, I don't know how you keep him.
Tough way to start your NFL career.
It's the second game of his career, I guess. It would suck for him to lose his team that quick. But you got to do something. That's 4. I guess if you give him another game, if he does that again, you can't keep him.
No.
The Vikings are a team that's looking to contend this year. You can't drop games. This is a game, granted you had the bad call on Matthews at the end of the game, but Rodgers got the benefit of a bad call earlier than that, and they were showing that in the replays. So do they cancel each other out? Football's pretty situational, and Matthews was obviously more of a primetime deal since it was the end of the game, and that was an interception that would have ended the game, and Green Bay would have won.
Yep. So,
yeah, there's a lot of that, I guess, that goes on every week in the NFL, but amazing game, and that's the Vikings to me, to go into Lambeau and play that way, and you have Kirk Cousins throw for 420-some yards and 4 touchdowns. If their defense gets back to it, because to me their defense isn't playing as well as they did last year. Not yet. If they get back there, that's a scary team. That's a really scary team for anybody to play. And I'm obviously looking because I'm shopping. If Detroit really blows it this year, then I think I might move on. I don't know who it would be, but
it's got to be a close team.
Yeah.
Green Bay or Minnesota.
Yeah.
Bears?
The Bears. I don't know. I would have to really think about it because I've been a Detroit fan for so long. It's hard to think about just getting into another team, their players and their system and their coaches and their fan base. I mean, I think that's why I don't know that I could ever be a Green Bay fan because their fans are so tough to deal with. I know they say the same thing about Lions fans. It's probably true from their perspective, but because I'm on the other side of the fence, it's pretty tough. Especially since their team has been better than our team for so long. Since the early 90s. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I know
It does.
Detroit did finish ahead of Green Bay last year, but, that was the exception, not the rule. The past 20 years, 20 plus, 25 years, whatever it's been. 25, probably. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was impressive. Right at the very end of that game, there was a lot going on there. And Rodgers was hurt. He's playing hobbled. You could tell. He's got the brace on and knees bothering him. He took some hits and he looked kind of shaky getting up a couple times. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds for the rest of the year because we've seen what they look like without him. It's not good.
No.
At all.
Terrible.
You hate to think that professional players give up, but it almost seems like the whole team gets worse when he's not playing. Doesn't it seem like it? Like
absolutely.
Everything gets worse. The play across the board gets worse when he's not in the game.
Yep.
And so I don't know how you if he goes down at all this season, they're going to be shot. And then there's room for Detroit, right? We'll see how today
Giving
goes.
us a chance.
I'll catch the recap. They were down 10-7 when we came in here, so
10-13 now.
10-13.
Lions are down.
They're within a field goal, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be a second half team?
It's a game of two halves.
It's a game of two halves. The first half they played like shit. The second half they played like dog shit. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. Back on our lifting thing. We were talking about Mike O'Hearn and Hathor, the mountain. They got together and did a video. Was it a week ago now, probably? Ish? I don't know. It was something like that.
Sometime last week we saw it.
Yeah. That guy just continues to amaze at 50 years old.
Yeah.
He kind of coined the whole birthday squats thing. There's no way in hell I want to try that, but.
We never set the weight.
Yeah. Right. I mean, even at 225, because I was thinking, like, if I was going to do that for 42 reps, it would be this year.
Let's do it.
42 reps of 225 would take me all day.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Body squats would hurt.
And he uses, what, 315?
That's what O'Hearn does.
O'Hearn does 315 times his age, so he'll do 50 reps, but he'll do it in one set.
Yeah, but he has CT helping him along, though, and we saw it.
But he's natty. Might go trend. I mean O'Hearn. Yeah, he had a guy on there that he trains with that's like an IT guy or something like that. It's an office guy. That's what they explained to him. It's like, he's your average Joe. And they put 225 on him. I think he used 46, but that looks punishing. I don't care what weight it is.
Yeah.
Just do body weight squats, Try and do 50 of those in a row. Yeah, that's impressive. But with Hathor, what do they have on those incline dumbbells? Wasn't that what they were? Was it incline dumbbells that they were doing?
What impressed me was the reverse grip flat benching.
That's right. For triceps.
Yep.
It's an isolation exercise for triceps, and they were using 315.
Yep.
I mean, and getting real reps out of it.
20-some reps.
Yeah.
Each one of them.
Well, Mike got 22, and then Hathor did 25.
Yeah, that's what it was. But how old is Halthor? Thor.
I don't even
The
know.
mountain. See, he's young.
He's young. He's young. Yeah. Well, and the guy we were talking about today, he was talking about his long arms, and he does. He's got kind of a weird. He's got long torso, long arms, which would be tough for those kind of lifts. But, Halfthor's 6'8". He's got a long torso and long arms. He's just a huge person, and man, he can lift. I mean, obviously he's 426 pounds or whatever, and 6'8". It's impressive.
Very.
And he did his what did they call that? His overhead press, where he his strict overhead press, which means there's no help, no legs, no bump, no shoulders, no flex. He just
From a dead stop.
no
body movement, straight up.
And he did 440, I think. That's insane.
That is.
But I do think if Larry Wheels takes it seriously, he's going to be. The thing of it is, I don't wonder if he's going to be big enough. You know, those guys, to pick up those Atlas stones and some of those things, you just need to be a massive human to just get your arms around it.
Exactly. Isn't that what Eddie Hall struggles with the big stones?
Yes.
His arms are too short.
Yep. And that's why he always has to kill it with the deadlifts and some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
The straight power. But I want to say Halfthor broke another world record recently. He was throwing, when they take the weights and they throw them back up over their head over the bar. I forget how much he said it was, but he had a hammer bell. And he grabbed it, and it was the heaviest ever that anybody's cleared that bar with. 20-foot bar. He threw it up in the air, up over his head from,
Like the keg toss.
like the keg toss.
Those are full-size kegs that they're throwing, right?
Yes.
16
And this is
and a half
heavier
gallon.
than that. This was heavier than that, whatever it was. And it was one arm because it was a hammer bell. So it was pretty impressive.
He's 29.
29 years old. So 20 years ago, when we were lifting weights in your basement, he was 9 years old.
Yeah. Dominic was 1.
He was a little Halfthor.
Uh-huh.
We were doing curls in your basement. Me, you, and Will. Remember that?
I do.
Yeah. A long time ago. You'd think we'd be stronger. It's that 3 months on, 2 years off that's killing us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. It's like I was telling my sister, I've been doing pretty good with my diet for the past 2 weeks. Not 2 months, not 2 weeks. Pretty good for 2 weeks. Not perfect. I'll say it was pretty good.
Good effort.
Yeah. I just need another 18 months of good, and then we'll see where I'm at.
Yeah, there you go.
We were looking at that Mark Bell too. He's talking about his diet, which basically he said bodybuilders have the worst diets in the world. They're good. It's just you eat rice and chicken and broccoli, and you can get one type of potato every once in a while, but that's 24/7, and you got to eat 6 meals a day, and you train all the time. He just said it was miserable.
I bet.
He's glad he did it, but
Lift eating shit.
yeah. And take your Masteron. He said he was on Masteron, Trenbolone, and something else.
Yikes.
He said he's been cycling since he was 25, and he'll never quit. And now he's got when he was 25, he got it illegally. Now he gets a prescription and gets labs and doctor recommended, and does that whole deal. So whatever. Seemed to work out for him.
I would say so.
I think he's trying to move more into that Mike O'Hearn line, though, of power bodybuilding. Because now he said he's really going to work on getting his strength back up. I noticed he was close gripping with 405 the other day, and that's the most I've seen him do in quite a while.
He has some serious injuries too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Chest and knee.
chest and knee over the years. He's tore his bicep before, so he's had big injuries, and that's why he retired from powerlifting. But I think he, I don't want, because he didn't say specifically what numbers he has in mind, but I seen him deadlift over 600 pounds recently, so I know that's pretty good for a 230 pound guy.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. He's an interesting character just because for the line of work that he has and the gym that he owns and the things that he does. I mean, obviously everything's gonna be fitness related, but he made his name powerlifting. I mean, he owns Power Magazine, so you'd think if anything he would be just trying to stay as strong as he can as long as he can, but he didn't. He was 330 pounds like 3 years ago. Now he's 230 and ripped. He didn't need to do that. He could have kept pulling 800-pound deadlifts and squats and playing to the crowd that he has, but he didn't. He leaned out. And
I bet it feels a lot better now.
he said he feels amazing. And right after that, him and his wife went on some sort of little vacation for their honeymoon. So I think he did okay.
Yeah.
He took first place in that show, and I think for the Masters, for the over 40 crowd, he took first place, and I think third overall. So I don't know. Yeah. But he said he's all done. He's retired. One local show, and he's retired from bodybuilding. So he's gonna go back to lifting heavy and building his strength back up. Which, you know, if his strength's at a deficit now, he's still stronger than we are.
Right. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. I think it'll work out for him. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Last week, one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I can't believe I forgot it because I made a big deal about it on our social media, was that Burt Reynolds died.
Oh, yeah. Bandit.
82 years old. It's always weird when you get that news because if you had seen Burt recently, you know that he needed a walker and he was really struggling health-wise. And so, yeah, it's sad to hear, but he was 82. I mean, you know, it's sad, but kind of. You know, he lived a hell of a life. I doubt he has many complaints. Maybe he's got a few regrets, but
He did all right.
I think he did okay.
He did all right.
From what they say, from like 74 to 84, he was like the biggest movie star in the world.
Yep.
Highest paid. It was cool. When I found out that night after Jules and Jordan went to bed, I watched Smokey and the Bandit again. That movie's like comfort food, man. I mean, it's it's funny and it's, you know, all the lines before they come, and yeah, it's kind of goofy, but I really like that movie. I could watch that a lot. Well, I do. I mean, that's one I probably watch 2-3 times a year. In my life, I've probably seen it 20 times at least. Maybe more.
We need to watch Sex Drive again.
I did watch that the other night. Well, I was getting caught up on Westworld because I hadn't finished this season. You know, I get tired of the time jumps, and so when it was on, I kind of got lost in it, and I was just like, screw this, I'll get back to it later. And I kind of ran out of things to watch, and so I put that back on. And James Marsden, of course, is in that, and he plays the older brother in Sex Drive. But the whole time I'm watching him in Westworld, I'm thinking about how hilarious his character was in Sex Drive.
Yeah.
When he's like raging on that garage door, and he's just like gritting his teeth, and he's like, "You wouldn't dare! You don't have the balls!" And he's punching it, tries to karate kick it, and hits the ground. That is the best. And he's got that strap, and he's trying to strap those dirt bikes down. And he's like, "Oh, go ahead, little brother, you can ask me." Snaps him right in the face with it. I wouldn't let you drive my car if it was parked on my schnutz. Yeah. And the GTO in that movie is awesome. That's why last time I watched it, I was like, you don't realize just how much of a car movie that is, because it's a road trip movie, ultimately. And that car is featured throughout the entire thing, and it does really cool stuff. So, plus you get the Amish super mechanics.
Rumspringa.
Yeah, they rebuild it twice. What was the band that showed up? Remember it for their Rumspringa? Who's the?
Oh yeah.
Was it Smash Mouth?
Blink 182.
That's what it was. Yeah, that was it was cool. But yeah, Burt, beyond his car movies, I was listening to him. He's got like Smoking the Bandit 2, Cannonball Run 2. He has Stroker Ace, where he plays a NASCAR driver, Hooper, where he's a stuntman, and that has Sally Field in it too. But then he's got White Lightning and Gator, which he drives a 69 or 70 Ford LTD. And they make a point to say that even though it's a four-door, it's a moonshiner's car, it's got a 429 and a 4-speed. It's pretty cool. I mean, the car itself isn't that cool, but just what it is and what he does with it is pretty cool.
Big old boat.
Yeah, big old boat with big old balls. Yeah, those movies are awesome. And then, of course, he did Deliverance and Boogie Nights. In the 90s, he had that sitcom Evening Shade. My dad loved that.
That's right. I remember that show.
Yeah, it was actually really good. Remember that little nerdy guy that wore the Steelers jacket? He was hanging out. Evening Shade was like a bar.
Yeah.
And he said he was a place kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember those lame leather jackets they had back in the day that had like the team colors? Like Pittsburgh Steelers, it was a black jacket with a yellow bottom with the Pittsburgh logo, but it was all leather. This little nerdy bald dude with glasses had that on. And he'd tell all the women that he was a place kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Remember the 8-ball jacket?
Yes.
8-ball.
I seen one of those for sale on Craigslist the other day. It was $75.
Really?
I told Jules, I'm like, this fits me. I should go get it. Do the putty from Seinfeld.
8-ball.
Eventually destroyed it because she said he looked stupid. You look like an idiot. She threw it out the window or whatever at a party.
Joe from Family Guy.
Yes. Yeah, that show is awesome. But yeah, I wanted to say that about Burt Reynolds. Burt was awesome. His goofy laugh.
That football movie he had, that was good too, wasn't it?
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. The Adam Sandler one was really funny. But his was actually, it really wasn't funny. It was pretty rough. It's interesting, though, to see that, because it's a silly concept when you think about it. He's a disgraced football star who gets, kind of shanghaied into playing with this penal league team against the guards. But there's a lot of actual NFL players, like the Steelers in particular. Jack Lambert was in that movie. There's a bunch of guys. Oh.
San Fran.
San Fran scored again. 10-19. Well, I got to tell you, though, after last week, I'm kind of surprised it's not like 40-0.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, they played so poorly last week. I didn't. Well, we said that. I was like, if they play anything like that, they're going to go into San Fran and just get destroyed. Because Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, and that team is pretty decent. And their schedule just gets worse. It's like these were the easier games. The Jets, San Fran. Now it gets way tougher. You got the Vikings twice, Green Bay twice. You have the Patriots, the Seahawks.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be
fine.
good. It'll be good. I see good things coming our way. Stafford's probably going to have broken ribs by the end of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, they said, I forget what the stat was, but since like 2000, when did he get drafted? 2010 or 2011? They said he's been sacked like 200 times, 200 and some times, most in the league by a long ways. Yeah, it's kind of amazing that he's been as durable as he has, and he's put up the numbers he has given the hits he takes. He gets hit all the time.
Yep.
But you know what? They did that to Barry too. When they had a good offensive line, they got rid of their good offensive linemen, and they got crappy ones. And they never had a good offensive line that whole time. And Barry kind of improvised and did Barry things to get yards, but
make the first guy miss 4 or 5 yards deep.
Yeah. They're doing the same thing now. You know, and maybe that'll change under Matt Patricia, maybe it won't. But those I don't care what team it is, you win in the trenches. That's where football is played. If you have a great defense, look at the Rams. I couldn't tell you who one of their cornerbacks or linebackers are. But I know 2 of their defensive linemen are.
Yeah. They're pretty stacked.
Yeah. Yeah, they got Todd Gurley. I mean, they have an amazing running game. They've got a good quarterback. They have everything. They're gonna be pretty tough to beat. I mean, unless something goes haywire, and it can happen because Dallas has stacked their team a few times and not gone anywhere with it, so it can happen. But someone else brought up. They said the Eagles, but I seen they were getting beat today, weren't they?
They were losing earlier to Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa looks pretty good with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a journeyman kind of quarterback.
Uh-huh.
You know, they got all that money invested in Jamie Winston, but he's sitting for.
Jameis. Yeah, is he hurt or they?
I think he's sitting for a substance abuse violation.
Oops.
Yeah, I think he's got like a 3-game suspension, so I think he's out next week too. So, but they were saying like because they won last week, if Fitzpatrick and they win again this week, if they beat the Eagles and then they win in next week, can you play Winston when he comes back, or you got to stay with the hot hand? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know, man.
How'd the benching feel today?
Well, I've been battling a cold, and so I didn't feel that great, honestly, doing it. But I didn't feel horrible. It was just, I think I'm still just, my energy level's still staying where they should be. That's all. I mean, when I gripped the bar really hard, my arms started shaking. That's not a good sign.
No.
That's not normal. But, you know, I still worked my way up to 365. And then I put the slingshot on, and then for another set, I did 365 twice and got some reps. Worked my way up to 275 on incline, so, you know, it was okay. It wasn't great. Those we were kind of talking about, you know, should we use the code words? Guys on gear and guys that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
When you're steadily using TRT or testosterone, you kind of tend to steadily increase. Your trajectory goes up to a certain point. You're just raising your plateau, right? Genetics is still involved. You know, steroids could never make me look like Mike O'Hearn. I'm not built like him. Just physiologically.
Just a little boost.
Right. Like they said, you'll put on 20-ish pounds of muscle, quality muscle, if you do it right over a year. Maybe 30 pounds even, depending on your genetics. But if I was super lean, say I was 210 pounds, I'd be like 240, which is not bad by any means, but he's 275. You know, it is what it is. You know, all the steroids in the world wouldn't make me as big as the mountain. It's just not possible.
No.
I'm not going to get any taller.
We're just shrinking now.
My hands aren't going to get any bigger. Or will they? No, they won't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious though about the TRT stuff. You know, we've talked about it for years, and I always said past 35 I'd really look into it, and I never did. But I think I'm going to now.
Do it.
Why not? I mean, maybe the answer would just be no, you don't need it. I guess to know would be good, but let's see. Maybe
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Maybe I do. Then I could bench 500. Well, maybe. That'd be awesome. 500 by 50. I didn't quite make 400 by 40, but ish.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. We'll even get Dominic down there one of these days.
That's what needs to happen.
What's funny is he hasn't ever really gone to the gym, and he'd be stronger than us on 2 lifts straight off. That's what's awesome. Oh, yes. I can think of 2 right now. And there might be more. What can I say? I'm just an old man. I'm on the way out now. Oh, no. Just getting started. Jordan said I'd run out of time, so my goal was 500.
Don't you think you'll run out of time?
Yeah, I might. Who knows? What else am I going to do? Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Did you work on your car at all?
No, you touched my car.
I took the Mustang out yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Where to? What'd you do?
Just went for a quick burn down the highway. Stopped at the bar, had a cold one. Went back home.
Really?
Washed it.
Perpetuating that legend. Then kids will talk about it. I saw a yellow Mustang. What was that? And then they'll get it wrong. They'll be like, I think it was a boss.
Yeah.
Or like my neighbor. He thinks everything's a Cobra jet.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. But you do.
do.
That's actually really rare. Not many Cobra jets were made ever in any year. But I appreciate it. I used to think my Mustang had a Cobra jet. Oh. My 68 had a 289. It wasn't a hypo either. It was just a 289 that burnt oil. The guy who got it after me put a low mileage 302 that I had gotten for it. Pulled it out of a 89 Mercury Grand Marquis. Literally got it for $500 off a little old lady. It had like 40-some thousand miles on it. We pulled it. And he got an aluminum intake and carburetor and headers for it, and he threw it in.
Perfect.
Perfect. We'll run that little car forever.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. That was what I was going to do, but I didn't. Yeah, I want to. I want to work on the olds. I'd like to get that sucker running good.
You should buy that 455 Pontiac that's built up down at the engine shop.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'd have to get some custom brackets done. Because I guess, for whatever reason, the problem between the Pontiacs and the Olds and the Buick, even though they're the same engine essentially,
Different motor mounts?
different motor mounts and everything's reversed on it. So you got to get different brackets and move stuff around. But they make them, I guess. You can do that.
Okay.
But, yeah, that would be pretty awesome. A 455 would be cool. It would be. But then I also think, should I just get a 5.3 out of like a 2005 Tahoe? And they have like 320 horsepower and they're really easy to convert and throw in there. You can get those for like $300 too. It's that Chevy thing.
Yeah.
But as I've said before, I'm kind of against that LS the world stuff. LS swap. The better would be if you could get a 6-liter LS. Then it has pretty big horsepower right from the factory. But yeah, I don't know. The 403 runs good for now. I just need to figure out my short so it starts when I want it to start. But, you know, I keep the jumper cables in there the few times I have driven it.
Mm-hmm.
If I charge the battery overnight, I can get a few starts out of it before it's done.
Yeah.
Got my trickle charger in the garage.
Right on.
Oh. So what do you guys think about camping?
Want to go camping?
No. Again. Jules was thinking maybe not.
That's right. I was supposed to ask Dominic about that and I forgot.
Yeah.
So possibly, but most likely not.
Most likely not.
Okay.
Because we've got the next weekend we're supposed to go down to Petoskey to my family Thanksgiving. And the weekend after that we're supposed to go back to Copper Harbor, so I don't know. How did you guys feel about it?
We're ready if you are.
Ready if I am. I don't know, man. Thing is, it's a lot of fun once you get out there. It's a pain in the ass to get everything together.
Exactly.
The camper clean, haul it out there. But once you're out there, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Making campfires and hanging out, drinking a few beers. Then go spend a little bit of money, go to a restaurant in town. It's nice. Oh, that was almost epic. That was almost epic. He almost hit himself right in the crotch. You'd be thinking about that all evening. One of them things. I think that's good. You know, we would have had more to talk about. We didn't get to watch the Lions game. Fox decided they're not going to show
They
it.
hurt our feelings.
They did, a little bit. Bastards. But, whatever. They're probably going to lose, and then I'd be aggravated watching that. So, whatever. All right, man. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. We're out of here.